Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Box Office Receipts for the Christmas weekend of 2018. And man, do we have a lot to talk about. I'm your host, Tyler Callahan, and hope everyone had a happy holidays and are looking forward to the new year. To kick this off, let's go over the domestic numbers first. This will be split into two, with going over the actual weekend numbers, Friday through Sunday first, then the Christmas Day numbers specifically. For the weekend, Aquaman opened up in first place with $67.4 million. In second, Mary Poppins earned $23.5 million for a total of $32.3 million. Remember, it did open up last Wednesday. Third place, we saw the other newcomer Bumblebee with $21.6 million. Fourth place was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with $16.6 million, bringing its total to $64.7 million. And finally, in fifth place, we had The Mule with $9.5 million, now with a total of $35.2. Now, we did have two other new movies that came out but did not make the top 5, and they were Second Act and Welcome to Marwen. Second Act made $6.4 million and came in at 7th place, while Welcome to Marwen bombed hard with a very low $2.3 million, coming in at 9th place. The movie did bad critically, commercially, and it looks like audiences are not liking it either. There are now reports that Universal could lose up to $50 million on this movie, which if that's true, Jesus, between that and Mortal Engines, they are having a terrible December. So for the big movies for the weekend, all of them did relatively well, and while there are a couple million less than my predictions, it was nothing drastic. For the order of the top 5, I got everything right except one, which was 5th place. I thought it would be Second Act, but it was The Mule instead. Now let's move on to Christmas Day. For Christmas Day, it's one of the busiest days for theaters for the year, and we've had our blockbusters and new movies coming out. For this, I will do a special top 5 for the day, and then talk about the movies. And first was again Aquaman with $22 million, bringing its total to $105.7 million. Mary Poppins was in second place with $11.4 million, bringing its total to $49.9 million. Third place was Bumblebee with $8.8 million, bringing its total to $34.2 million. In fourth place, we have newcomer Holmes & Watson with $6.4 million, and in fifth place was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with $5.6 million, with now a total of $73.7 million. Another movie, Vice, also opened on Christmas with $4.7 million. So let's talk about the stinker in the room, Holmes & Watson. The Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly movie that, as the title says, makes fun of Sherlock Holmes. This movie was not screened for reviewers, so on Christmas Day when I looked to check Rotten Tomatoes, there was nothing. And over the days that the few reviews did come in, they were all scathing, and by the end of it had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. As of this recording, it has now moved up to a slightly less rotten 4%. Now you might think, but these are the critics, it's the people that determine the box office. And you're right, they are. They're the ones with the money. However, the people also think this is shit. The cinema score coming out was a D+, which is really, really bad. Remember, anything lower than an A- is not great. Anything lower than a B is bad. So a D+, oof. Also, the Rotten Tomato score from the audience right now is at a solid 25%. This is not one of those movies where the critics are wrong, the people love it. No, everyone's in agreement. This movie sucks. So what happened here? Well, Deadline actually did some digging pretty quickly and got some info for us. They're reporting that Sony knew Holmes & Watson was a terrible movie, so they tried to sell it to Netflix, but they said no, so to lower the risk, they sold a part of their share of the movie to a smaller studio, Merman Schreier Pictures, and with it being released on Christmas, just hoped to make as much money as possible before word of mouth spread that it's terrible. Now, I had an idea that the movie was bad when I did not laugh at the trailer at all, and I really do like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly stuff, like, again, Step Brothers is amazing, but this bad? Oof. Also, it seems this December is big for both blockbusters and flops. Just this month alone, we had Mortal Engines, Welcome to Marwen, and now Holmes & Watson, all critically panned and flops at the box office. Now, Holmes & Watson will not flop as much as the rest since its budget was only $42 million, but it will lose money probably. And this makes me think, did we not see this for a couple years because the past 3 years have been Star Wars movies? Other studios want to avoid Star Wars. But because there is no Star Wars this year, it's like open season. You can put out whatever you want. It will make some money. So maybe that's why. So maybe next year, when episode 9 is supposed to come out, this time next year, maybe there won't be as many movies and there won't be as many flops as this. So to quickly recap, Aquaman is doing good. Mary Poppins and Bumblebee are slightly underperforming, but still okay. Welcome to Marwen and Holmes & Watson are train wrecks. Now to some international numbers, Aquaman is at $451 million internationally, bringing its worldwide total to $556 million. Apparently, it also just received an extended stay in China till the end of January, so there is a chance it could reach $300 million there, which would almost lock this movie for $1 billion. Mary Poppins Return so far has $22 million internationally, bringing its total to $72 million. Bumblebee has brought in $31 million internationally so far, bringing its total to $65.3 million. And finally, Spider-Man is doing pretty good with $64.3 million internationally for $138 million worldwide so far. So this weekend's kind of quiet right before New Year's. There's no big releases coming out since they all just came out. So for the top 5 this weekend, I'm going to go mostly with the same lineup, but with one switch. First place will be Aquaman, second place will be Mary Poppins Returns, third place will be Bumblebee, fourth place will be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but in fifth place I will put Holmes and Watson. Yep, while I think Holmes and Watson will continue to bomb, I think that there will still be enough of a crowd wanting to see how bad it is to make another 8 to 10 million. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe the word of mouth is so bad it makes maybe 3 million for the entire 3 days. Okay, that's about it for this special, guess you can call it, holiday episode, going over the Christmas numbers. Very, very busy weekend, very busy Christmas day, a lot of movies, a lot of them good, some not so good. That is it for this week's episode of Box Office Receipts. And this is the last one of 2018. Next week we'll go over the last weekend of 2018 and look forward to what we have in 2019. As always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TylerCallahan95. And thank you for listening.